Welcome to the podcast, Journey to the Well. I'm here to take you on a journey to learn how to become wealthy in all 8 dimensions of life. With each episode, our knowledge will unfold and faith as our anchor. So come tune in and hear the stories untold. Your host, Alicia Coleman. Today we have a special guest coming on, and his name is Will Mussack. He is a go-getter, and he has found peace with fitness through his struggles. He is always willing to help others, and I love that about him so much. And just overall, just a really great human being, and he's just becoming a freaking unit. And I just want to dig deep into talking about the fitness part of him and the emotional resilience that he has. And so today I want to specifically dive deep into how an individual has the ability to adapt and bounce back from challenging moments in their life and emotionally distressing situations. So, Will, would you like to introduce yourself today?
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
And finally doing this.
It's been in the work in progress. So,
yeah.
Thank you.
No, super stoked to be here.
You flew out from New Orleans.
We drove.
You're right.
When I fly back.
You are going to fly back, yes. So thank you for taking your time.
Yes, of course. Excited to do it.
I don't know how you fit me in your busy schedule.
I know. But yeah, excited to be here. Excited to tell you about how fitness has become transformative for me this year. And then also just been really helpful into me growing into the human that I am today, and then continue to grow to be my best self on a daily basis.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that you're a little entrepreneur yourself, and you have your own business that you work with a team. And then you want to explain a little bit about that, how you got involved? And
yeah, so me and one of my best friends, Carson, shout out to
Carson.
Captain Carson with Blackwater Voyages. We started a luxury sailing cruise line down in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, about 3 years ago. We're just ending our 3rd season. Basically how that started is that we would go sailing all the time, and we'd always take people sailing with us. And then one day we were like, hey, how about we just start charging people? And we did. And it was great because we started making a decent amount of money. And before it was just a side hustle. And now we've turned it into a passion project.
Yeah. And
we've grown and evolved with that as well, where a lot of things are automated. And now there's opportunity for a lot more growth, where we can get a second boat, new locations. There's just a lot that can be done. It's just a matter of, putting in the work, just like everything else.
Yeah, side hustles can go and take you so far and into a path that you didn't expect it to explode. Mm-hmm. So can you explain how your team works together and the entrepreneurship more behind it? Yeah,
so for me and Carson, I think we work really well as a team. We've been soccer teammates and neighbors since we were 12, 13 years old. And basically since then, we've just kind of been inseparable, living our own separate lives, but also, still being best friends. And he is the true sailor at heart. He started sailing whenever he was 12 years old, started teaching sailing when he was 13 years old. And now he's a sailboat captain. And I'm a little bit more tech savvy, so he takes care of more so the operational side of things. He's the one to fix the boat.
Okay.
And drive the boat and all that kind of good stuff.
And then you...
And I built the websites. I would manage the social media.
You helped get the party started, I'm guessing.
I helped get the party started. I guess a little bit peeked behind what we offer is a luxury sailing experience where you bring yourself and 5 of your best friends, and you sit on the boat, and we keep your glasses full of champagne with your pinkies out, of course.
Always.
And it's a very intimate experience. So we have to become entertainers as well as lifeguards and professionals aboard.
Yeah, I'm sure you have to have very charismatic personalities too.
Definitely.
You can't be boring.
Can't be boring.
A boat.
Yeah.
You're stuck on the middle in the water. And
yeah. Bachelorette parties, we do really well.
Oh yeah.
That's where the fitness has come in really well this year too.
Okay, yeah. So speaking of fitness, let's dive into the fitness, and then we'll touch back on the Blackwater, right?
Blackwater.
Awesome. I know that physical health can become so important to you. Can you explain your journey with your physical health?
Yeah, so, I've always been a relatively active, athletic person. Played soccer all my life. played college ball, played equivalent to amateur / semi-professional levels. And then this year as well, I've kind of transitioned from soccer to another sport called Australian rules football. Look it up.
Which is actually super insane, crazy. Yeah. Like, I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. And then these NFL football players have to wear helmets and pads, and you guys are just like out there, no helmets and pads, and just destroying each other. I'm like, oh my gosh.
NFL players, no disrespect at all. It's a different game in itself. But it's not rugby, I can tell you that. But anyways, go look up what is AFL on YouTube. Give it a watch. This past year, I played with the Baton Rouge Tigers and the North Texas Devils. Just got done with nationals. That was really cool. But because of that, I wanted to become good at the game. So I was like, okay, I want to take this to another level. Mm-hmm. And then also fitness and nutrition became even more important to my life after my mom passed away about a year ago due to diabetes, essentially. It's a long, hard battle. Thank you. And but you know, through her diabetic, she had a really tough time and a lot of other health issues and complications that came with that.
Yeah.
As anyone who has diabetes or has a loved one that suffers from diabetes, it's a slow, painful killer.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what it is. And the only way you can really combat that is to really take care of your health and your nutrition. You know, it's one of those things where a body at rest stays at rest and a body in motion stays in motion, as well as with your nutrition. I mean, and that's kind of like with our society, we are just, bad food is so easy for us to eat, so it's so easy for us to go eat bad food.
Yeah.
I'm not saying my mom did eat bad foods, but like she didn't really take account of like what she was eating. There was a lot of fruits, a lot of like just natural sugars and everything, and that's, you know, you don't need that kind of sugar, so you have to have a good balance of all these, you know, all the nutrients and stuff that you need. So basically since then, I kind of take it upon myself to not want to get diabetes.
Yeah.
If it runs in the family, it's a hereditary thing. Mm-hmm. So I've taken this year to really look after what I'm eating, really get after what I'm doing, and through that I've become pretty consumed by fitness and also still learning about nutrition.
Yeah.
I don't want to say I'm all consumed by that because that's a hard thing.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing to do. But you know, the nutrition's good. I've become a much better cook and all that kind of good stuff. But fitness, I was been all consumed because one thing I did learn about myself this year was that I thought I was all in with fitness, but in reality, I was basically running away from the problems, not really facing it. I thought I was doing a good job, but, you know, training 2 to 3 times a day. You know, I ran a marathon this year, and usually, you know, marathons are great. You have to give respect to anyone who trains for it and does it. Mm-hmm. It's a hard thing to do. I don't entirely want to do it again.
26.1 miles, right?
26.2.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way. I finished it in 3 hours and
drive.
47 minutes. Yeah. And but one thing, you know, through the training and everything, I just lost myself. And with running, especially when you're training like that, you end up like running close to 30 to 50 miles per week, or more, depending on your severity level of becoming a marathon runner, what your goals are and everything. If you're just trying to finish the race, it's different. But
yeah,
for me, I learned that like you kind of make this joke as a runner, like you see people running and you hear that somebody's a runner, you're like, oh, well, what are you running from? You know, and they're just like, oh, you know, something, something dark, something in my heart. You know, no one's just a runner.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
You think like that those are almost type of people that like to hold things in, or is there kind of like a balance between?
I think there's a balance. Like, one, you have your runners who do love running.
Yeah.
But I think for others who kind of get into running later in life, like they're running from something, and maybe they haven't faced the music yet, and you do end up loving to run. I found a new love for long distance running, the endurance running. When I started my training, I didn't like the idea of running a 5K, 3 miles. And then...
That sounds like me right now.
Yeah. And then as you go through the training, like your body gets conditioned for it, and like you learn how to regulate your heart rate. You learn how to breathe. You learn how to do all these different kind of things.
Oh, I'm sure there's so much art to it. And
There really is. And you lose yourself. You know, you go on these 15-mile runs, training runs, and like, you know, it's 2 hours of running.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 2 hours of being by yourself.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Right.
And so that's the hard thing. And you just have a lot of time. It becomes therapeutic. It's a lot of good things. But train for the marathon while also lifting as much as I could at the time. But it was great because I started this year at 205 pounds. By race day, that was April 16th, I was 175. So that's 30 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is huge. I like to say I was a pretty doughy boy.
Yeah.
And I lost it all.
That's insane.
And then I was like, okay, now I'm too skinny.
And you were doing 75 hard.
And I was doing 75 hard.
Yeah, you were doing 75 hard during that time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And that was your first time doing 75 hard.
That was the first time.
Which is crazy because I also lost 36 pounds on my first time. So it's not a fitness challenge. It's a mental challenge.
It's a mental challenge. There is fitness involved, but I was training for the marathon and lifting weights all the time as well. So I took it a bit extreme from that aspect.
Yeah. And for all of you that don't know what 75 Hard Challenge is, you can look it up on Andy Frisella's podcast. It's episode 208. So, yeah.
Look it up. Give it a try.
Yeah.
If you feel like you need a mental correction, give it a try.
Yeah.
I dare you.
Dare. I double dog. Dare you.
Triple dog.
Oh. Stamp.
But yeah, I was just training a lot, 75 hard. But I did it. And, I got to come over here.
Yeah.
Thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Made that a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But it was funny afterwards. You got to see me before and after, where the after was like looking at your stairwell. I looked like I was about to climb Mount Everest. And you would go up your stairs and you look back and I'm like 2 stairs up.
Yeah.
2 steps up and you're like, you okay? You're like,
you okay?
Maybe.
you were struggling.
It was a struggle. And, it was great. I'm really proud of myself. I crushed all my goals for that race. I got to do it. I specifically did it to run with at the Go One More Marathon presented by Bear Performance BPN Supplements with Nick Bear. Yeah, right. Huge inspiration of mine, big motivator.
He's awesome.
Been watching his content for a long time. Take his supplements and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, we watch his podcast. Which Nick Bear, if you want to come on Unleash Gold Diggers, let me know.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. I wanted to ask Nick Bear a question, but I wanted to finish the race first.
Yeah. And
because I wasn't going to just go up to him because it's his race, it's his thing. And for the runners in the world, there's only 300 spots available for this race on a ranch in Austin. So like there's more cows than people watching this race, which in a running race, that's usually like you run through a city and there's people cheering you on, but there's no one. There's no one out here. Like I said, there's more cows than people.
The cows are like, move faster.
Yeah. But it was
Just kidding.
It was really cool, but it was hard. And one thing that I could relate with Nick Bear specifically is that he's an entrepreneur, CEO, built this business, bootstrapped it, took out like a $20,000 loan to start it up, starting his classic store, starting in his basement or garage or whatever, and now it's multi-million-dollar business, which is amazing, right? In that process, or during that time, he lost his mom, and being a CEO and being all consumed, which is someone else who I listen to a lot, and the understanding and learning the difference of being all consumed versus all in, and he was, in my opinion, at the time of his mom's passing, all consumed by work and fitness. He was training for a triathlon, and his mom passed one day, and 3 days later he's already back to work.
Wow. So
he didn't take any time. Like he went straight to training for his triathlon, which a triathlon is a 112-mile bike ride, 3.2-mile swim, and a 26.2-mile run. So it's a lot you have to train for.
Not self-care. It's more like self-destruction in a sense, right? Because you're putting your body through all that, plus emotional wellness.
Right.
So that's a lot.
So he, in my opinion, just if I'm outside in as a consumer of his content, you see that, and me understanding it and going through it myself, I'm like, this guy was all consumed by it. So then what I wanted to do was ask him. He's an inspiration of mine, so I wanted to ask him. I said, once I finish this race, I want to go. And even before the race, at the start line, I saw him. I was one of the first people at the start line, and I saw him, and I was like, hey man, like, mass respect.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, but I want to finish first. And he's like, all right, I'll be here. I said, okay. So I finished, but I was really, really tired.
Yeah.
Went and took a little bit of break, and I came back and asked him later. But the question basically was like, you know, to one, sympathize with him with his mom's passing, but also my mom's passing. Relating to that and asking him how he dealt with all that.
Yeah.
And basically what he told me is to feel my feelings. Like, don't bottle them up, like to feel them.
Don't run from them.
Yeah, don't run from them. Like, obviously, you inspires running, but like, don't just run from them.
Right.
You know, it's like, and I think with him, he dedicated that Ironman to his mom. But it's like, you don't run for, like, you can run for causes, you can do all kind of stuff, but at the same time, it's like you're running for yourself. These are very solo endurance experiences.
In training,
it's very selfish. It's a selfish act. It's a self-fulfillment. And maybe people disagree with me, but like at the end of the day, that's what it is. Yeah.
Splish
splash.
Splish splash. Your opinion's trash.
Yeah. But for him, his message to me was to feel my feelings, which is great because I started feeling that, and that was it was great validation to hear from him, you know. And then so since then, I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna do better at feeling my feelings to do this process, and then I've just continued to try and do it, to keep building on that and not to be like to run away from it, because
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, I was gonna say that's so cool that you can that's the person that you looked up to, that you listened to. You got to run in one of his races that he put on for a cause for his mom, and then you were able to come to him face to face and have that relation and that connection and clarity through, you know, what you've gone through and your in that struggles and like your emotions of running. When you say about, you know, your mom passing and like, you know, she didn't eat the healthiest, how can you speak to people that don't really care for their fitness and why it's important?
I mean, I'm no professional when it comes to nutrition. For one, I do all my own research and everything. I learn what's good for me. As far as fitness goes, again, I'm no professional. I don't have any certifications, don't have those kind of accolades. But what I do have is experience. Like I said, I've been playing soccer since I was 4 years old. I've climbed the ladder as high as I can, given, you know, my skill level, and I've made a pretty high way. And you know, even with footy, it's the same thing. But what I would say, based on like fitness, like kind of go back to what I said earlier: if a body at rest stays at rest, a body in motion stays in motion. That was one thing with my mom. A lot of the times, and I know she was lacking a lot of energy, but there was days where she didn't move. Like she was just on her bed all day. Yeah. And I was just like, Mom, get up and just go for a walk.
Right.
Like get the blood moving. Like get you know, you gotta move your body. And it becomes so important. And I think it also comes down to like a level of laziness out of people. So I really like hope to inspire, and that was one of the goals that I had this year, is to motivate and inspire fitness. Some type of movement in people, because we're only getting older. And if we just go to work all day, you know, I'd say like the normal 9-to-5er, right? You go sit in the chair all day, you go stand all day, you're doing the mundane things of a repetitive type of work, I guess you could say, especially like office jobs. Yeah. You're sitting all day, but if you don't get up and move your body, like...
And then they go back home and watch Netflix, and then they're sitting again and not pumping the blood and making the body actually like burn those calories.
Exactly. It's like... So for my message is get up and move. Yeah. Like you'll be a lot happier. And whether that be walking a mile, you know, taking that 45 minutes to go walk, you're probably going to walk a mile and a half. Right. And that's good. That's great. You'll lose a lot of weight. You'll feel better. You're not going to be upset that you walked a mile and a half. It's just always those things of taking that first step.
What method would you love to share to the listeners who can relate to you, who have lost a loved one? But I know for some people, their first response isn't fitness. Like for me, I might like have to have like, if my parents passed away, like I'm not running, I'm not working, I'm not going to the gym and like showing my crying face and like, you know what I mean? Like I think I would more curl up, but I know that I can't do that forever. So what would your advice to somebody that isn't really involved in fitness in the first place?
Well, it's like hard to answer because, we're all different. Like you just said, like the way you would react is the way it's very much different from the way I would react.
Yeah.
The way I usually react in these really tough situations is like, well, I'm going to go for a really long run. I'll see you in like 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
Just let me be, and I just have to go run. And I'll run myself into the ground. I'll make it back, and I basically try my best to run myself so much to the point where I could just fall asleep. Because if not, I'll just stay awake and just ponder. And the message would be, to do your, like, to continue living for those loved ones who passed.
Yeah.
Because that's what they want for you, is for you to live your best life and to continue moving forward. Like, my mom wouldn't want me sitting inside my house and sulking and maybe turning to alcohol and or drugs or whatever, or binge eating or just not doing anything. And that's when things get bad, being all consumed by fitness is probably one of the best things that could have happened to me, like to be addicted to, because one, it's really good for my health. It was a great way for me to feel those feelings. But again, like going back, you can channel that into alcohol, which happens a lot, and you see it. You see people spiral and they can't do anything, or they themselves can't do anything and they can't get themselves out of a rut. But then again, I think it's to remember who that person was who's passed, who they were to you, and what they would want out of you, to see out of you. Like I said, my mom would not want to see me sitting inside her house, sulking, doing nothing, being not productive. Like, she would call me out,
Yeah.
So it's just keep on going that way. And for me to be the leader that I need to be in my family, and I have a younger sister, I have an older sister, and luckily, like, they're both super strong and they help me out too. But at the same time, it's almost like one of those the man of the house type things.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of one of those things, like, me to take the leadership. And I've tried this year, and that's been a whole wave of emotions too, and growth, and having to deal with the estate, the will, and this and that, and blah, 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 because there's so much, especially if you're not prepared. But
Which most people aren't.
No.
Like,
so my message there, just kind of aside from separate answer, is to, one, if you have a loved one, like, one, maximize your time with them as much as you can. If you're not there physically, call them more often than you do.
Leave the grudges behind. Like, learn how to, like, come over your battles. I know, like, some families, like, do, butt heads, and but at the end of the day, you never know when your last day is to talk to them. And I know a lot of people that have regret of not being able to fix their problems or their struggles between their loved ones, and now they're living with, like, ending in hate with the loved one. And that is probably, like, one of the worst feelings that you could live with.
Because then you get regret, and that's what happened to actually one of my mom's sisters. You could see it. Like, she was, like, of course, you gotta let people react the way that they want to react.
Yeah.
But, like, she was, lack of better, she was boo-hooing. It was a little bit much, in my opinion. But at the same time, it's because their relationship ended poorly. Like, their last conversations were arguments. It was negative. Yeah, it was negative. And, like, it's your brother or sister or whatever, you get an argument and you're calling them names or whatever, and that's your last conversation, and they could die tomorrow, and, like, wow, that's a great way to go out, It'd be much better to, and of course we're human, right? We're not perfect.
Right.
But to have those conversations, but then also be strong enough, be big enough to mend that, and then also just be ready. Just be ready with all the legal stuff, because that takes a long time.
Yeah.
You don't want to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Just
bring, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, to answer your original question, though, it's just, like, just get out and move. Like,
yeah, I was going to touch on that, like, for, like, when people do lose their loved ones and they're not really into fitness, like, one thing that I think that I could give advice to for the emotional resilience part is, like, for anybody that isn't really into fitness, like, go take action about go try something new. Like our last episode with Solomon Floyd, he started doing salsa dancing and he found out a lot about himself, and like it's more than fitness, right? Like it becomes like almost like a different part of you of like learning and growing of like your body, your emotions, like your connections. There's just so much more than just fitness. And I would just encourage people to, if you are going through something and you're stuck, if you're like going and trading it for vices of like alcohol or something that's destructing you instead of putting energy in you, I would highly recommend like think of whatever the fitness is. It could be yoga or tennis or dancing or I don't know. Footy, sport, soccer, anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anything besides sitting in front of a TV. Whatever your first thought is, I encourage you to go take action this week. Go try that thing that you've been thinking about, but you've been too scared. Go find a buddy, an accountability partner, and have that person go with you and support you. And you never know what's going to come out of it. And if you absolutely hate it, try something else or like just do something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just wanted to.
No, yeah, for sure. And I'll second that and say like, find something you enjoy to do. Like Solomon didn't think he was he always wanted to try salsa dancing, I would presume. Finds out he loves it. That's awesome. He enjoys it. What happens when you enjoy something is that you want to keep on doing it, which means you're going to learn how to do it better each and every single day. And that's where fitness comes into play. So now for him to dance longer, to twirl a girl longer maybe, to pick them up and throw them, to do the whole thing, to shake the hips, like you're going to have to work on your hips. That's a lot of hip mobility. Exactly. Like you just can't do that. You can get sore really fast. So if you're not, you could pull something. It's possible. I've seen people pull something doing a lot less. So, that's where, once you find that thing you enjoy that you want to train for, that's where fitness really becomes fun.
Yeah.
And that's like for me, like with Australian rules football, I wanted to, like I saw the levels. I'm like, I don't want to take this to the next level. I want to be a competitor in this sport, in this country. And I have been. Played with the national team. Went with the team, the North Texas Devils, shout out to nationals, and we balled out. Unfortunately, didn't make it to the finals, but we did much better than anyone expected us to do. Yes,
you did amazing. I was proud of you.
Yeah, thanks.
We were your number one fans.
Yeah.
But it's also for fitness, it's also longevity, right? So I guess how do you think that mental health and emotional health well-being can contribute to physical health?
Well, I think with the longevity thing, it's, we'll go back to playing sports, dancing, yoga, whatever it may be. You fall in love with these things. You want to be able to do them for as long as you can. So for me, with sports, I play this high-impact sport, a lot of running. It's also part of the reason why I did do a marathon was that one of the professional Australian rules football players said playing footy is like running a marathon while having a boxing match. Yeah. So I ran a marathon to get ready. So that was great. But because I want to play for as long as I can. I want to be able to last the whole entire game. I want to be able to last for as many years as I can. And that's where the longevity comes in. It's just preparing your body, and as you get older, it gets harder.
Yeah.
The mobility, your training will shift.
Trust me, I see all these dad bods walking around. I'm like, what are you all doing out there?
For real.
I'm trying to find myself a fit man, and it's hard.
It's that, you see them out there everywhere. And then also these dad bod guys, I don't want to talk for all of them, but maybe they're athletes at one point in their lives, and they're like, oh yeah, we could go play these sports. Let's go play these things. And you go do them, and they're tired within the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
They can't hang.
Right.
So it's like for me, if you're doing that, you're going to try to play with me, and you can't hang for the whole game, sit the bench.
Yeah.
Go back to the training ground. Come back when you come play the whole entire thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to inspire.
It also tells you a lot about yourself and your character, right? It does show ambition. I feel like your body is a walking resume, on the inside of you. So if you're taking care of your body, you're going to look good. If you're taking care of your financials, you're probably looking good. Not going to say that. There's obviously millionaires and probably billionaires that are not fit. But for the most part, when you are looking good, everything else is looking good.
Mm-hmm. I think it go back to, some of the people that I follow, that I look up to is one, Tyler Devereaux.
Yeah. Shout out to
Tyler Devereaux.
Take action now.
Yeah. He's my boss, per se. So I'm not just saying this because he's my boss, but also he's a fit human.
He's my uncle, brother,
yeah.
from another mother.
Yeah.
He's my mentor.
Yeah.
He's like a leader. He's everything.
Yeah. Big ups to Tyler. But also one thing about Tyler is that fitness is big for him.
Huge.
He's been running a lot more recently, but also he's one of the guys who gets up in the gym, 5 a.m. club every single morning.
Tyler Devereaux's motto is also if there's an escalator or elevator, it's always take the stairs.
Yeah.
If there are stairs, always take the stairs.
Always.
And I love that so much. So
Yeah.
take the stairs.
After my marathon, though, don't agree with that one.
Well, you did take the stairs.
Well, there's a few times after, especially when I played with the national team against Canada, I saw the stairs and I saw the escalator, and I was injured in my leg, and I was like, sorry, Tyler, not this time.
Oh man, that's
I'll tell him.
disappointing.
But I won. We beat Canada. We won the 49th Parallel Cup, so I felt like I was merited a pass.
Yeah. Excuses.
But that's Tyler.
Yeah.
He's the CEO. He's a very wealthy individual, and fitness is a huge thing for him. Nick Bear, his whole business is based off of fitness, being the hybrid athlete. Ryan Holiday, the Daily Stoic.
Yeah.
He's a runner. Andy Frisella.
I was going to say Andy.
His business is based off fitness as well.
Yeah. Fitness, mental, like.
Yeah, everything.
Get your inner baby voice out of your head.
The inner witch voice.
Inner witch voice, yes.
Witch with the B.
Yeah. Switch the W to the B. Yeah.
But anyway, like those people that I look up to, and
100%. And that's another thing that like people can do. If you don't have somebody that's into fitness that you don't look up to, or maybe go find somebody that like that lines up with your morals or your goals and like what you can do, and go follow them, go watch them. Like, I don't know, I guess like a lot of people like also like I used to get stuck in like looking at celebrities and like, oh, I wish I had that, like I wish I did this, like, you know what I mean? But like you can, like I've seen transformations on reels of like people unfit to fit and like how it's changed their lives. So it's just like, and you want to get into fitness and like doing a online course or in-person course with the fitness, so that's pretty cool. Yeah,
that's something I really want to do, because what I've learned from the marathon is, one, I am happy that I did the marathon. I'm very proud of myself. Two, I don't want to do that. And the training and the race are very lonely experiences. And I would try to ask people. I'd be like, hey, to my run club back home, like, hey, I'm going to go do a 15-mile run tomorrow at a 9:30 pace, which is like not that fast, but it's pretty fast for most people. And I would just hear crickets. Nobody wants to go do that. Nobody wants to go run 15 miles. And I would have to go do it because I needed to. But again, that was lonely, and to hear like nobody wanted to even try. And I know it's intimidating, and also like just like I'm not an elite athlete by any means. I say I'm above average. If I was elite, I would be playing pro something. But I'm above average, and I can understand how maybe it's a little bit intimidating to be like, hey, I want to go run 15 miles at this 9-minute pace, 8:30-minute pace. That's hard. It's a very tough thing to do. So I can understand why people wouldn't want to do that. But through that, I felt the loneliness. I did my race. What I learned is that I don't want to do that race. But what I do want to do is help others achieve that. I want to go help them on their long runs. Be like, hey, you got a 10-mile run tomorrow? Yeah, I can go. Because I know that I can do that. And I know I can do it at their pace. Now, if someone's faster than me, because that's what happened. Reese, a young guy out of Slidell, Louisiana, going to UL, really fast, really good runner. For 4th of July, the day after, July 5th, he's like, hey, do you want to come do a 6-mile run with me? I was like, yeah, dude, no problem. He's like, yeah, we're going to run at like a 5:30 pace. And I was like, oh. And for those, like, that's a really fast pace.
I would be way yonder.
You would not be doing it.
I would not be eyesight.
Yeah. And I think I could do it, but I don't want to do that.
Okay.
It would hurt a lot. But for that kind of thing, I'd be like, okay, I'll get my bike and I'll ride with you. I'd find a solution.
Yeah.
But for other friends, like my friend Merlin, big ups to Merlin, very good entrepreneur, brand new father as well. He's got his little baby girl. But he wanted me to pace him for a half marathon to try and break 2 hours. Unfortunately, we didn't break 2 hours. He got 2 hours, 1 minute, 57 seconds. Still really close. It's still a great time, especially for him and his growth through running. But I got so much enjoyment out of that and helping him get close to that goal. And also with our friend Mulaney, the same thing. Like, she's big in the fitness as well. And she didn't really like running all that much. It was a really tough thing for her to deal with. But I remember during the run, like we started the last mile and she's like, can we break 2? And I was like, we can, but you're going to have to go now and basically sprint the rest of this last mile. And she did it.
Wow.
But I feel like, and they gave me a lot of props and a lot of kudos at the end for being there with them to push them. And that made me feel really, really good. Yeah. And I had a much better experience doing that.
Yeah. Well, like I said in the intro, you're always willing to help others, and that's such a great little gold piece of you, and that's just such a little piece too. So you offer so much more. What is the most important thing to focus, or what do you think is more important to focus on, the length of one's life or improving the quality of those years?
I said the quality of the years, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. Yeah. You know, like, so if I'm...
Amen to that.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're expecting it. You know, we're expecting to wake up, but we're not guaranteed it. So improving the quality, and if I can live a healthy lifestyle and enjoy myself to the fullest and you know, with people who I love, and have them also have a quality of life that's equal to, or they're trying to get there and they're just happy people and they want to be there. That's what I would encourage. Because again, like, we're not guaranteed tomorrow. And we're not guaranteed the same health tomorrow. Yeah. You know, we can get in a car accident and life changes. Right. You know, who knows? You can get sick.
Dude, that's so crazy with Louisiana, like the 150 car pileup.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy. Like, something like that could happen. You know, you have a freak amount of fog and a marsh fire going at the same time, and you can't see anything, and you have 150 cars that pile up on the interstate. Like,
crazy.
There's people trying to go to work.
Thinking that's a normal day to go to work and make it safe, just a typical day, and turned into hazard day.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers out to all those people, or all those families affected and everything. Yes. But yeah, it's just enjoying and just having that quality of life, because whether it's tomorrow, it could be 10 years, 15 years, doesn't matter, but just improving the quality. Man. Quality over quantity.
I love that. Same like with friends and everything. So I love that you answered it in a quality manner versus the quantity. So that's huge. With fitness, it also brings out confidence, and, you know, the way you walk, talk, move, speak, whatever, all of that builds the confidence, right? So how do you differentiate between confidence and I had to redo that. How do you differentiate confidence versus arrogance?
Yeah, that's a fine line to walk, you know? I think it's okay to be...
Sometimes you're a little cocky.
Yeah, conceited. But, you know, I deserve it. I earned it.
I'm just kidding.
I earned it, though.
Don't be defensive.
I'm not defensive. I'm owning it. But
no,
also,
you're just really proud of, like, I think there's a difference between, I don't think you're arrogant at all. Like, so,
yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. But, I mean, to answer that, it's look good, feel good, right? You go to the gym. I'm in the best physical shape I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, you are.
And, you know, college athlete and all this other kind of stuff. But I'm still, like, right now at age 31, I'm better than what I was when I was 21, 24, when I should be at my peak then. Yeah. But now I'm the strongest I've ever been, lifting the heaviest I've ever been, running the furthest I've ever have. And, you know, it's, and now from a physical standpoint, I'm, like, very proud of what I look like, which brings that confidence. And, you know, your clothes start fitting better, or they start loosening up. So now I'm a little bit upset that my pants don't fit the same way that they used to. Like, I'm happy about it, but also like, man, these are expensive Lululemon pants, and now they don't fit the same. Yeah. But so we're going to try to build up those legs a little bit again.
Bulking season.
But it's like you look good. People look at you different. You walk into a room and you can just tell. And you start noticing it. People look at you different, and you go to a pool party, you go to the beach, you take off your shirt.
100%.
Like, and this is what's the difference between arrogance and, but like, when there's a bachelorette party on the boat, it's like, one of their hats blew into the water. Let me just take off my shirt and
slowly into the wind and do like a helicopter move.
Yeah. And then, dive in after the hat and save the hat and be the hero of the day. And, all these, usually older women who are on the boat, they're just swoon.
Wow.
Oh man, it's amazing. That's how you get tips though.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how you get the tips.
You just have like Carson, like with a big old blow dryer, like that like makes the hat go away on purpose. And then you're just like, all planned out.
But on the boat, it's a second that, we actually had a funny, thing on there. We posted something online and our friend Kelsey was like, oh, we know Will doesn't do anything. I was like, hey, I know my role. Look good, pull lines. That's what I do. Obviously I do a lot more than that, but it's like, on sailing day, it's a very simple task, but it's like, all right, just pull these lines really quick and we'll just,
what a life.
I know. It's a great life. It's a great life. We, work like a captain, party like a pirate.
I love that. So speaking of that, do you think that there's any culture or gender differences in how confident is perceived or expressed?
Yeah. I think we'll talk about gender first. Mm-hmm. And this is just observations of what I've seen.
Yeah.
I mean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with you.
Yep.
And that's something I've learned about. Yeah. But it's other people I've seen too, like within the fitness community that I'm a part of. Like you see people who are, they're some of the most fit people that I know that are in my area, in my community. And like they're the trainers, they're the ones doing these things, but then they're also the most hard on themselves. They have this sense of body dysmorphia. I'm like, so true. It's like, why? Like, you look amazing. But I mean, I do this to myself too. I'll take off my shirt, look in the mirror, I'm like, well, I'm fat.
Oh, I got skin?
extra. It's like, I know it doesn't matter. I know they look great. Yeah. I know that everyone else who's looking is like, man, how does that guy stay so lean or whatever?
Right.
Same thing for you. Like, you look at yourself and, I've seen you do it.
I'm not good enough. I'm still, my legs aren't perfect. And like, how does that girl like walk and her muscles are showing? And like, I'm like still here and I sit down and I'm like taking up the whole seat. Like,
it's, I think from that, like there is a gender difference there. Cause I think women, they almost desire, they just want to look good.
Yeah.
And I don't want to offend anyone when saying that, but
you won't. It's true. I mean, girls, come on, let's relate. Like, we're always judging ourselves. Like, and same with guys. Like, we're always the most like critical. What is it? We're almost like the hardest on ourselves. Mm-hmm. So,
our biggest critics.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I love that. You're always finishing my sentences.
Yeah,
this is why we keep you around.
But to go back to that, I mean, taking gender out of it, like we are our harshest critics, and for those people who are like, this is where you don't want to compare. You don't want to compare yourself to anyone. Yeah. You can set yourself goals and be like, I want to be like this person or that person, and you try your best to get there. Yeah. But it takes hard work.
Well, and everybody's body is different too, mm-hmm. and like their habits are different, their nutrition's different. So like people forget to take that into account. Like their schedules are different. Mm-hmm. Like, and are you willing?
Right.
Like the willingness is like, that's huge too.
Right.
But yeah, I think taking a step back and like looking at the bigger picture, I think that if you're doing, like for me, example, like if I'm out in the gym, like I'm doing 75 hard phase 1 right now, 2 workouts a day, like, and I'm still not happy with my body sometimes, but I'm like, dude, I'm doing the work that most people aren't doing. Mm-hmm. So I should be proud of where I'm at, and just like expressing and like just having gratitude for your own body in the moment that you're actually, when you actually are putting in the work. Just be thankful for your healthy body, that you are able to move, that you are getting through your workouts in a healthy manner. Like, you're not, I don't know. But yeah, so just to wrap that up.
It's something to be proud of, and you have to celebrate your wins. We talked about this yesterday. Yeah. It's like you can put yourself down so easily. That's the easy thing to do. And you see it all the time. And like on our walk yesterday, whenever you were saying like it was so good to be like an inspiration. It's like hard to say nice things about yourself. And I was like, no, say that with your chest.
Yeah.
I inspire people, say it, own it. It's the same thing. Like I ran a marathon. I did it.
Yeah.
Like I play Australian football. I played with the national team. I did those things. I'm going to celebrate those wins. But then again, like we'll celebrate them, but then tomorrow we go again.
How do you take all those like little celebrations and you, all the wins, celebrations, and the confidence? How does that play in a role with your careers?
With my careers?
Well, with your
my career.
With your career, yeah. Well, you have two things, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd say like all those wins, like it's almost like, and this becomes a balance of your time and energy, which is what one thing. Go back to that. Being all consumed versus being all in is that I was all consumed by fitness and trying to be the best footy player that I can be and make an impact. And I did that, and I kind of put other things on like cruise control. But now I want to take those things that I learned about myself this past year and how much energy that I put into my fitness and what I was able to accomplish this year. Like I said, playing with the national team, going to nationals and actually having a great showing with my team. And running the marathon, running a half marathon, doing all these things and being in the gym all the time. It's like, okay, what if I took that energy and put it into work? Yeah. And into something that's going to give me money, revenue.
Consistency.
Right. It's the same thing.
That muscle up.
Right. That knowledge. And so now that's what I'm transitioning that. But now it's almost like I established fitness in my lifestyle. Like that is not going to change.
Right.
And that's why it's bulking season. But now it's going to be bulking season into mine as well and getting things done to work hard for the next 2 years, 2 or 3 years or whatever. And then, with the ambition to make passive income so I can go do and what I want, live the lifestyle I want, adventure and experience life with the loved ones. Yeah. And just do that all the time.
Yeah. And providing for them too.
Yeah. Providing for them, providing for everyone else, helping people. Going to Guatemala and actually making change. Yeah. Like making a difference.
Yo, I love that so much. Well, Will, thank you so much again for coming and talking about how to adapt through your challenges, talking about your fitness and opening up to, losing your loved ones, your parents specifically. I feel for you. My heart's heavy for you, but I also know where you're going and how you're coming about it. And it's just so awesome to see how you took your emotional resilience and you're just becoming a unit, like I said. Gonna wrap it up with a Bible verse. This is one that Will picked out. So this is Ephesians 6:13. And it says, "Therefore put on the full armor of God, so that when the day of evil comes, you may be able to stand your ground, and after you have done everything, to stand." I think that, reading this and understanding it, it's like the evil day can refer to what struggles might come at you in life or whatever is going to be like a spiritual attack or, unexpected things that come into your life. This verse is just so wonderful that you picked out and for this podcast because it encourages individuals to be resilient, to stand up for their principles and what they want in life and to face challenges with courage and faith. And so I would just encourage you that next time that life comes at you or Satan comes at you, just remember to wear the armor of God. And what that means is that the full armor of God that Christians are called to put on consists of the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, the gospel of peace, the shield of faith, and the helmet of salvation, and the sword of the Spirit. And I wanted you to explain why you picked this out, but I think that is so awesome. And just being able to walk with armor and just know that you're going to overcome everything that life puts you through.
Yeah. I think with the armor bit and I really like this Bible verse because I've been working hard on my maturity level too, transitioning from boy psychology to man psychology and trying to become the king, the warrior, the magician, and lover that I aim to be. And I think something that I've been able to establish really well this year is the warrior aspect of my life. I really enjoy being a warrior. I feel confident to say that. And as a warrior, you go out to battle and you don't go out to battle without the things that you need. We look in the past and the warriors that we do have, modern day warriors, historic warriors. You have your shield, you have your helmets, you have your sword, and with this Bible verse to remind you that, and within the Christian faith, and from a biblical standpoint, to wear the armor of God in that is, it's like it brings you confidence.
Yeah.
For those times that evil does show up,
Longevity,
those tough times.
Protection almost.
Right. And then it's to prepare yourself when those things happen. And then also prepare yourself and to be there for your loved ones who go through that as well, who are not as prepared. Mm-hmm. So I always have my sword in my pocket. I'm ready to use it for my friends and to guard them. It's like I was telling you the other day, like I stand behind you.
Yeah.
And anyone who stands with you means I stand behind them too. But the second that they stand against you, they stand against me too.
Sword's coming out.
It's coming out. It's going to get awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's kind of what it means to me, and just to be a warrior in that, and to be ready. And it's kind of like what the Coast Guard says. Like, I think it's their Latin motto. I can't remember what it is in Latin, but it means always ready, always prepared.
I love that.
And they're always ready. They're the first ones out there. Anyone who's drowning, they're the ones who go out there and to save those people. I have a lot of respect for those people.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. I always want to be ready for anything.
I love that so much. Well, thank you so much again for all your knowledge and coming on. And where can people find you? Like, where can people follow up and, watch your story? And also for Blackwater, for the people that live in your hometown, how can they get on that? Instagram,
Will Mussack. That's my Instagram. Blackwater Voyages, Instagram. Black Sail Capital, that's another one that's coming up. It's a real estate venture that we're starting as well.
Cool.
We're looking to start investing in boutique hotels and other experiences.
Yeah.
Which is going to be really cool.
And that's also with your business partners, Nico, Strat, and Jackson.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah. Big ups to them. Big ups to them.
Yeah.
Hawaii crew.
Dude,
so.
Love those guys. By the way, awesome team. Like, oh my gosh, you guys are like on the track, and you guys are going to just outrun a lot of people.
It's going to be great.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great.
I cannot wait.
And
all of my favorite people.
I can't wait either. It's going to be really cool. So stay tuned for that one. That one's Black Sail Capital. You'll see those things start to come up, and we'll talk about it. Definitely going to be the coolest real estate brand that's out there.
That's awesome.
People are going to be like, is this a t-shirt company or is this a real estate company? You're going to be like, both.
I can't wait. I want to see it. I'm dying to see it.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the way to do it. And thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
And we'll dig those goals.
Go dig those goals and go dig on yourself and your future. Let's go.
Lift heavy, run far.
Oh, let's do it. Thank you so much, friends, for being part of this show, exploring life's depths wherever we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because your support means the world to let our community grow. And remember, as we conclude today, let gratitude flow.